Okay. While I was gathering clips with Gabri and Pepp, I realized that you have to be well-rounded in PvP to properly use Greatswords, especially if you want to perform well versus good opponents. Unlike Ultra Greatswords, there's no magic formula, the devil is in the details. The Onyx Blade and the Claymore are significantly better than other Greatswords, all things considered. As a rule of thumb, Greatswords without an R2 poke are practically useless, as their playstyle relies solely on this particular attack. Although, as with anything, there's always exceptions. The Wolf Knight Greatsword and the Twin Princess Greatsword make up for their bad R2 by having useful weapon arts, and in the Wolf Knight's case, having incredible range. A good Poise breakpoint for Greatswords is 39.72. I will leave other popular breakpoints as well as a few build templates in the description, which you can play around with when making your own. Let's begin with the R2, as it's the centerpiece of any Greatsword playstyle. It's very hard to put pressure on a good Greatsword because its hyper armor starts off so quickly. Locked on R2 will accurately track your opponent no matter where they run around you. You can unlock to maneuver your R2 to prevent getting whiff punished. This is why R2s from neutral are your bread and butter versus any melee opponents. Although versus ranged opponents, you cannot afford to carelessly throw any attack while out of range. You can use the lingering hyper armor of your charged R2s to bait any opponent to attack you. You only get lingering hyper armor when the R2 is at least slightly charged. Also, the lingering hyper armor does not last very long. The whiff punish needs to be instant, otherwise get interrupted. While baiting can sometimes be good, it's a risky source of damage. There are better ways to do damage. Reaction trades are one example. While you can't react to your opponent's R1, you can react to his movement.
That look that you're giving me is a cue for me to press R1, you know what I mean? That was literally right, like especially that one was literally a reaction. No, what I'm trying to do right now, like I'm following you and you try to catch me off guard with an R1 and I have to predict a reaction trade to it, you know what I mean? Okay, good. Yeah, I'm waiting for that turn.
As the slower weapon in most matchups, you have to take advantage of every chance you get to get some damage in. You can either trade on reaction or prediction trade. Sometimes your opponent will have a habit to attack after a certain pattern. When you are reaction trading, you're never reacting to the R1, you're always reacting to the movement of your opponent. Most of the time it's when they turn around to face you. As much as having an active defense with a Greatsword can be hard for your opponent, it's also hard for a Greatsword to get constant damage, as everything you do is easy to reaction roll. However, there are many ways to catch people panic rolling. A stance weapon art R2 at point blank is a good roll catch. Another good roll catch is the one-handed moveset after you connect any two-handed hit.
One-handed R1, you can use it to roll catch people as the wake up. I like that. Alright. You have to unlock. Like, you have to unlock basically.
The Greatsword benefit greatly from having another roll catching tool. Crossbows, dragonhead shield, daggers, straight swords are good options to roll catch when intertwined in your battle flow. It goes without a doubt that the best way to play Greatswords is unlocked. You can take full advantage of your R1 arc when unlocking your Greatsword. As you can see here, your attack frames start behind you and then arch over you. The hilt of the Greatsword also counts as attack frames. By unlocking and tilting your sword, you can manage to get attack frames faster than a normal R1 if you were locked on. These extra early attack frames can be treacherous for your opponent, especially if he has a habit of reaction rolling at the very end of your startup animation. The same way unlocking can be useful to catch your opponent with early attack frames, you can clip them with the very end of your swing. The most common mistake is to whiff the running attack while pursuing your opponent.
Players like Pinto Fanta, for example, like he loves to do that, to run away from you. Yeah, don't do this. This is how you get punished. I can still run away, but like some players are like they're quick enough to time aware. Say like don't do this, because as they're running away, they're already outspacing you. And then the best way to use it, if you're like, I'm not gonna attack, you think I'm being passive, then quick like that, quick running attack.
It is far from necessary to go above 40 poise when using a greatsword. Your extra poise will simply prevent you from getting staggered after you land a running or a rolling attack. For instance, at 42.04 poise, you can tank a two-handed curved sword R1 with your greatsword running attack. But there are really no benefits to do so because you're gonna get staggered on the second hit, so you can't apply pressure from a running or rolling attack. Therefore, you might as well get staggered with your opponent when you trade your running attack to a two-handed curved sword, spear, and such. You also want to put enough pressure to where the enemy is scared to R1 you as soon as you enter his range. It should also be mentioned that the greatsword is good for fishers, as even if you miss the backstab, you'll most likely win a trade. Greatswords also prevent you from pivoting. However, this tutorial won't be centered around backstabs, because it's good to get backstab with any weapon and should be used in your playstyle no matter what you're using. Another useful note is that slightly unlocking the weapon, whether it's one or two-handed, will completely ignore any parrying attempt. If there's one thing to remember when playing with a greatsword, is to manage your stamina properly, and always keep doing R2s. When prediction trading, notice how your opponent reacts after you miss an attack. So, what's the best greatsword?
Range versus damage. I always look at it like this: move set first, range second, then damage. Because if you can't hit him, what's the point? Like, what's the point of what's the point of all the damage if you can't hit the enemy? Do the range or move set. The damage wasn't that much different, to be honest. Okay, go ahead. Here. 101. 105. Greatsword, the number one thing is the fast hyper armor, and then the R2, but like mainly the fast hyper armor. It's the same logic behind like Pontiff and Scimitar. Even though Scimitar can chip, do all that stuff, but Pontiff is still better because it has slightly longer. Just because it's slightly longer, it makes it that much better. Same case for this one, right?
Yeah, it's more longer. The R2 is more hard to punish.
So this build that I have, both of you guys, this is one of my favorite ones. Like if I want to go try hard with this greatsword, it's just like greatsword build, nothing next to it except ethereal oak shield, and I can swap that to dragon head shield. Let's say if I want regen and I want to play I can swap to ethereal oak shield. And then if I want to be aggressive, then switch quickly, swap. Dragon Head Shield, and then use it with it.
Okay, so we are going to wrap this up. Hope you guys enjoyed. This is going to be the last clip showcasing an invasion versus a good player. Don't forget to reset your poise when you can't tank through an attack. And that's it. Hope you enjoyed.
Because we need to tell them like, oh my god, what the heck, Baba? You like this song, my daughter? Okay, I'll lower the volume. I'll lower the volume. Give me a second. Baba, I'll lower the volume. You guys do something. Let me try to fix the volume.